Welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over how to get an in-house signed document file. So this is for completed documents which have been generated. You can get the actual PDF document using an automation, using a function, right? And we're going to go through how to do that in this video. So in previous videos, we've gone over how to automate the creation, sending, and we've even gone over how to pull in a document. So for example, I still have it open on my Postman. We can basically just get the document and the system will provide every single bit of detail, including the data, right? The document data, which is what the user filled in when they signed the document. In this video, we're going to dive into getting the actual PDF document. All right. So I'm going to jump into the function builder. We're going to be testing this using an API, but we're going to go ahead and create a function that we're going to run in that API endpoint. Currently have an API called Inhouz Sign Test. We currently have 3 endpoints, one to create, send, and get completed documents. And for this video, we're going to be adding another endpoint to get document file. All right, so let's go ahead and write that function. So we're going to call it get inhouse sign doc file test. And it's going to say get inhouse sign documents PDF file. So this comes in handy when you want to display that in a different system, perhaps store that in your own database, whatever the case may be. Store it in your own cloud storage. We basically give you full access to that PDF, and as long as we have it, you can have it too. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create that, switch to the workflow tab, and I'm going to call this workflow logic. All right, so we're just going to type in sign in our function step, and I can see get inhouse sign document file, right? Not to be mistaken with get inhouse sign document. This is just going to give you the actual documents with its data. This right here is going to focus on giving you that document's PDF. All right, so I'm going to provide that document ID. All right, and since we're going to be testing this with an API, we're going to be using the system generated parameter called request body. So I'm going to just come in here, switch the code. So I'm going to say file response. I'm going to call this variable file response. Switch the code, and I'm going to say parameter all caps dot request body. So just match the spelling of our parameter over here. And we're just going to say document ID. All right, so our API endpoints, let me go back into it real quick, is exposed to the public. So this API endpoints, we are not going to be using an API key to gain access, but with all in-house signed e-signature automations, you need an authenticated user. So we do have something called system users that can stand in place of an authenticated user. And we're going to be using the user called Danny Joe because this system user has the in-house signed developer access, which just means that they have admin access in the non-production environment. So I'm going to go back into my function, add another step, rearrange my steps, and then type in system, and I'm just going to have it pop up, get system user API key. I'm going to call this API underscore key, select Danny Joe. So now what if you're testing this from an application that has a logged in user, right? So if you provide an API key, the API key provided here will always supersede an external authentication. So if my API was authenticated, or this is being generated from an application, right? And that application has a logged in user, the system would always favor the API key provided at the function step as opposed to the one of our logged in user. All right, so I'm going to say API key, add another step to return our file response. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save that. And we are going to deploy. Perfect. I'm going to come into my API endpoints, add a new endpoint. We're going to call that get file. It's going to be a post request. And then we are going to run our new function, get Inhouz sign doc file test, save, and deploy to the development environment. So we've been doing all our testing in non-prod, and we're going to keep going. So here I'm going to copy the development environment URL, go back into Postman, open up a new tab, post request, HTTPS, and then paste in our URL, go into the body. We're going to be using JSON, so document ID, and then I'm going to just copy this document ID from our previous request, paste that in here, send it out, and we should be getting our file. So as you can see, we get the response, we get that file base64. Oops, I think I might have clicked on that. Interesting. Let's come back over here and close whatever that is. Don't save. So you can see that we have our file base64, and it's a decent sized response. You can see 532 kilobytes. So we get a document name and we get that file base64, and you have the freedom now to take this and store it somewhere else, upload it to your cloud storage locations. You have that full flexibility. All right, that is it for this video on getting Inhouz signed document files using the e-signature automation. See you in the next one.